What if I told you that waking up at 5 a.m. is not about discipline? It is not about hustle, and it is definitely not about grinding yourself into exhaustion. What if I told you that waking up at 5 a.m. is actually about hacking your own brain, rewiring it, rebuilding it from the inside out in just 30 days? Sounds too good to be true, right? But here's the thing. Neuroscience backs this up. And the people who have done this, they do not just feel more productive. They feel like a completely different person. More calm, more focused, more in control of their own life. So if you have ever tried to wake up early and failed, if you have hit snooze 100 times and felt guilty about it, stay right here. Because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why 5 a.m. works, what it does to your brain, and how to actually make it stick starting tomorrow. Let us start with something most people completely ignore, the biology. Your brain runs on something called the cortisol awakening response. Now, do not let that term scare you. It is actually simple. Every single morning, about 30 minutes after you wake up, your brain releases a natural spike of cortisol. And before you panic, this is the good kind of cortisol. This is your brain's natural alarm system. It boosts alertness, sharpens focus, and gets your mind ready to take on challenges. Here is where it gets interesting. When you wake up at 5 a.m., you're waking up before the noise, before the notifications, before the world starts demanding things from you. That cortisol spike hits at the quietest, most peaceful moment of your day. And instead of being wasted on scrolling Instagram or rushing to get ready, it goes directly into your thinking, your creativity, your clarity. Research from Harvard Business School actually found that early risers tend to be more proactive. They anticipate problems before they happen. They plan ahead. They make better decisions. And it is not because they are smarter. It is because their brain gets a head start every single day. Think about it like this. Imagine two athletes. One warms up properly before the race. One runs straight to the starting line, still half asleep. Who do you think performs better? That warm-up. That is what 5 a.m. gives your brain every single morning. Now here is where it gets really powerful. Because this is not just about one morning. This is about what happens when you do this consistently for 30 days. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity. It is your brain's ability to change, adapt, and rewire itself based on your habits and experiences. Every time you repeat a behavior, your brain strengthens the neural pathway connected to that behavior. It is like carving a path through a jungle. The first time is hard, the second time is slightly easier. By the 30th time, it feels like a highway. In the first week, waking up at 5 a.m. will feel painful. Your body will resist. Your brain will tell you this is a terrible idea. That is completely normal. What is happening is your circadian rhythm, your internal clock, is being gently shifted. Your brain is starting to expect wakefulness at that hour instead of sleep. By week 2, something subtle starts to shift. You notice you're falling asleep slightly earlier. Your morning grogginess starts to decrease. This is your brain adjusting its melatonin production, the sleep hormone, to match your new schedule. By week 3, the habit starts to feel less like a fight and more like a routine. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making and self-control, starts getting more consistent activation in the morning. Studies show that people who maintain consistent sleep and wake times have better impulse control throughout the entire day, not just in the morning, all day. And by week 4, day 30, something remarkable happens. Your brain has genuinely rewired. The neural pathway for this habit is now strong enough that your body starts waking up naturally around 5 a.m., even on weekends, even without an alarm, because your brain has accepted this as its new normal. Now here is the mistake most people make. They wake up at 5 a.m. and then they waste it. They grab their phone, they start checking emails, they watch YouTube, and then they wonder why this whole early morning thing is not working for them. The time is not the magic. What you do with the time, that is the magic. Think of those early morning hours as a sacred window. Your brain is in its highest state of focus. Distractions are minimal. Willpower is at its peak because willpower actually depletes throughout the day, just like a battery. At 5 a.m., that battery is fully charged. So what should you do in that window? Here is what the research and the results actually point to. Start with movement. Even just 10 minutes of light exercise or stretching. This increases blood flow to your brain, releases dopamine and serotonin, and essentially supercharges that cortisol awakening response we talked about earlier. You're not just awake, you're switched on. Then spend time on your most important task. not emails, not social media. Your one thing, the project, the skill, the goal that actually matters to you. When you give your best mental energy, your 5 a.m. energy, to the things that truly matter, you start making real progress. Not someday progress, real, visible, measurable progress. And finally, protect the silence. Do not rush to fill those early hours with noise. Sit with your thoughts, journal, plan your day, let your mind breathe. Most people never give their brain uninterrupted time to process and create. The 5 a.m. window is that gift. Let us be honest. You have probably tried waking up early before, and it probably did not last. So let us talk about why, and more importantly, how to fix it. The number one reason people fail is they try to change the wake time without changing the sleep time. They stay up until midnight and then set an alarm for 5 a.m. That is not a habit. That is sleep deprivation. And sleep deprivation does the exact opposite of everything we talked about. It shrinks your prefrontal cortex activity, destroys your focus, and kills your motivation. The rule is simple. If you want to wake up at 5 a.m., you need to be asleep by 9 or 10 p.m. 7 hours minimum, non-negotiable. The second reason people fail is they try to go from waking up at 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. overnight. That is too big of a jump. Your circadian rhythm does not work that way. Instead, move your alarm back by 15 to 20 minutes every few days. Gradual shifts are sustainable. Dramatic shifts create resistance. The third reason is they do not have a reason to wake up. And this is the most important one. If you wake up at 5 a.m. and you have nothing waiting for you, no goal, no project, no intention, your brain will see no reason to leave the warmth of your bed. You need to give yourself something worth waking up for. A skill you are building, a business you are starting, a body you are transforming, a life you are designing. Purpose is the most powerful alarm clock ever created. So here is where we land. Waking up at 5 a.m. is not a trend. It is not a flex. It is a tool. A scientifically backed, neurologically proven tool that gives your brain the space, the silence, and the structure it needs to grow. 30 days. That is all it takes for your brain to genuinely rewire around this habit. 30 days of choosing yourself before the world wakes up. 30 days of quiet mornings and clear minds and real progress. And the person you will be on day 31, they will not even recognize who you were before you started. So I want to ask you something. What would you do with an extra 2 to 3 hours every single morning? What would change in your life? Think about that. Because those hours exist. They are there every day. Most people are just sleeping through. If this video gave you something, a new perspective, a reason to try, a little push, then do this one thing. Hit subscribe. Because on this channel, Brainora, we cover the psychology of growth, the science of habits, and the mindset shifts that actually change your life. And we're just getting started. The alarm is set. The only question is, will you answer it?